link. I only made it a couple of seconds into it, and then we're going to do the narrative from there. Under fair use, I have to do the narrative, guys. You want to track down this video, you can track it down, but you hear the son, how he says, what he says. Listen.
Explosion come at 8777 next.
There's another one a few seconds before, but that doesn't matter. It doesn't.
8777 Collins.
Because he didn't have his call come in as the first call. At least this reporter didn't show that.
Avenue. Everyone would soon learn. 12 seconds after her first call, another.
Mayday, please. Hello, this is Central Line Control. We're calling in a fire
12 seconds, fire alarm.
alarm for business. What kind of alarm did you say? Fire alarm?
There's no evidence at this point of a fire or explosion prior to collapse.
I was there, yeah, my
So there he goes. Here he is. Listen to what he says. This is live. It appears to be that night. And listen, I think that's roughly the close we saw in one of the Twitter one.
Me, my mom, and my sister.
But Gabriel Neer, who lived on the first floor, just above this underground garage, heard and felt what he called the first collapse.
He said felt.
Me, my mom, my sister went out, first collapse. We see the...
So listen, he said he went out. So someone asked me that, do we have him saying that he went outside? They went out. He said he went out. So there's your answer. He went out. This is what's so important about this video. He did go out on the porch. This means
Heard and felt what he called the first collapse.
Me, my mom, my sister went out, first collapse. We see the collapse happening on the pool side.
Well, his mom saw it separately. It was already happened by then. So, on the pool side. Okay, here we go. Listen.
And I saw a bunch of cars like going inside the car garage.
These cars, which dropped from first floor parking spots near the condo entrance into the underground garage. Alerted by the noise while swimming outside in a nearby resort, Adriana Sarmiento began recording this video at 1:18, aiming down the garage entrance ramp off 88th Street. It shows water flowing and what appears to be concrete broken, lying on the garage floor beneath Neer's unit. And soon, Neer would sense a second collapse.
It was at that moment I saw the ground shaking. I felt like something was happening. At that time, I had to run out, and I told my mom, my sister, everyone start running.
By the time,
but I think at that point, they're in the. He's obviously not in his apartment, right? So at that point, at least I'm theorizing that he's probably in the lobby when he's stating that, but he's not mentioning the lobby people. Because if they're saying to run out and he's there, why would you stop to give an address? Remember the address deal?
Time he called 911 at 1:19, he had less than 3 minutes to escape. Listen closely to this 911 call, and you hear the exact moment units began tumbling onto the Neer's unit and garage below. That was 1:22 and 19 seconds.
Okay, that's him on the phone. 1:22 and 19 seconds. There's your exact timing.
Just under 6 minutes from that first 911 call to the loss of nearly 100 lives in a crush.
So there we go. So 6 minutes. 6 minutes, Dougie Fresh, and you're on. Let's see if we can scrub this. I guess not.
And then when that can't take the load,
Oh, shit, he's speaking up. Hold on.
had a big problem.
He saw it at the Pentagon on September 11, 2001.
The fifth floor stayed there for 15 minutes. And then when that can't take the load, it says I give up.
Based on...
Yeah, we already talked about that. You know, I call it accelerated creep. He says he calls it I give up. I call it accelerated creep, and he calls it I give up.
Me, my mom, and my sister.
But Gabriel Neer, who lived on the first floor, just above this underground garage, heard and felt what he called the first collapse.
Me, my mom, my sister went out, first collapse. We see the
First collapse. We see the... Okay.
collapse happening on the pool side, and I saw a bunch of cars like going inside the car garage.
These cars, which dropped from first floor parking spots near the
I think he's talking current tense, but using he's talking as he's mentioning it as if he observed it. I'm not sure if he observed it. now. I think he saw it after, after it's already collapsed in because, well, his mom was in another location at that time. And then he went out to the porch, he states, and that would have been with his sister. And then the mom was somewhere else, and the mom came back to grab him. Let's go run. So I'm getting it's that night of. It's the night of. It apparently presents as the night of with this interview, unless they waited the next night to go talk to him, which doesn't make sense, right? So I'm gonna give him some weird, odd way of communicating. I'm gonna give him a little bit of a pass. Let me see.
I was there, yeah. Me, my mom, my sister.
Me, my mom, my sister.
Gabriel Neer, who lived on the first floor, just above this underground garage, heard and felt what he called the first collapse.
Me, my mom, my sister went out, first collapse.
We went out the first collapse. Then we observe, we see after the first collapse, we see it, but then he's going to talk as though it's happening right then. I think he's just getting his wording a little misunderstood there. Maybe he speaks two languages. I don't know.
Just collapse happening on the pool side.
He says happening, which means active, and so yeah, I don't think he saw. Using his right arm pointing off to the right.
And I saw a bunch of cars going inside.
Okay, so he's trying to keep attention to this guy, and he said he saw a bunch of cars going in. All right, so they were. His description, I think, means more like the cars were down, they were in. They weren't going anywhere at that point, but in his mind, maybe he thought they were still going in. Remember, he's thinking earthquake or something like that. So he's no longer at the site. So I'm going to say now that he's thinking, all right, he's extrapolated and added more after the timeline. Here we go. After some time now, sitting out here in the dark, he thinks those cars might have still kept going in. And so that's his description.
The car garage.
These cars, which dropped from first floor parking spots near the condo entrance
this is hindsight
into the
point.
underground garage. Alerted by the noise while swimming outside,
Me, my mom, my sister.
but Gabriel Neer, who lived on the first floor, just above this underground garage, heard and felt what he called the first collapse.
Me, my mom, my sister went out, first collapse. We see
He never said he felt it. He said, we see. The reporter added that he felt it.
collapse happening on the pool side, and I saw a bunch of cars going inside the car garage.
These cars, which dropped from first floor parking spots near the condo entrance into the underground garage. Alerted by the noise while swimming outside in a nearby resort.
See, what we have another. He's a little late in the game now. The other guy talked to him. He stated that he saw the cars go down and then the pool deck. In this one, either they're switching them up or he's making it sound either reverse, or the way he's giving the data presenting is no longer chronological. They both went together. There's no separation of the deck there. The rebar, there's no separation of that rebar. It's just a flex. And a butterfly roof looks like this, guys. And it looks like that, and the rain comes down into the center of the roof, and it runs off. And that's, again, I coined the term butterfly puncturing because it looks that capacity, like a butterfly roof, and it's puncturing taking place.
Adriana Sarmiento began recording this video at 1:18, aiming down the...
So she started recording at 1:18. So 1 minute later. At 1 minute later, so somebody asked about the timestamp. 1 minute later, the collapse happens, right? Let's back it up, what he says there.
Adriana Sarmiento began recording this video at 1:18.
So 1:18, he's already skedaddled, right? He's out of there because they argue with him on the 911 call, if you remember, that you're at the wrong location. So basically, the 911 operator one operator is trying to transfer to another 911 operator, but apparently it presents like that. But the one 911 operator, emergency operator, is basically trying to call him out, saying, "You're not there, so how are you saying that? You're a block away," is what they're trying to explain to him based on his cell phone location data. Obviously, is what they're telling him. Now, here we go. This is 1:18 again. So there's our time. I don't know where this 7-minute stuff came from, but our collapse already happened at 1:19.
But 911 calls and witness interviews reveal a longer process, lasting more than 6 minutes after a loud bang announced something was wrong. The first call to 911 came at 1:16 that morning.
A big explosion come at 8777 at
87.
Odd, right? 1:16. Big explosion. So that's maybe the first deck falling. Big explosion. Deck falling. Pool deck and car.
77 Collins Avenue. Everyone would soon learn. 12 seconds after her first call, another.
Mayday, please.
1:16:39.
Hello, this is Central Line Control. We're calling in the fire alarm.
Let me fast forward.
Fire.
I was there, yeah. Me, my mom, and my sister.
But Gabriel Neer, who lived on the first floor, just above this underground garage, heard and felt what he called the first collapse.
Me, my mom, my sister went out first collapse. We see the collapse happening on the pool side, and I saw.
That's the big bang at 1:16. They're probably reporting. They see it. They leave. It was way before 1:16, I believe. On their leaving, on their departure, it's probably 1:14.
A bunch of cars like going inside the car garage.
These cars, which dropped from first floor parking spots near the condo entrance into the underground garage. Alerted by the noise while swimming outside in a nearby resort, Adriana Sarmiento began recording this video at 1:18.
So 1:18 is your timestamp reported by the news there. This is when she records.
Aiming down the garage entrance ramp off 88th Street,
1:18.
it shows water flowing and what appears to be concrete broken, lying on the garage floor beneath Neer's unit. And soon, Neer would sense a second collapse.
It was at that moment I saw the ground shaking. I felt like something was happening. At that time,
At that moment, I saw the ground shaking. So, he says he saw the ground shaking. And what does he mean by the ground? So we have he's on the porch. He says they go out and look at it. He sees the ground shaking. Okay, so I'm on the porch in my mind. I look down. There's no room left. What ground shaking? He sees the ground shaking. Is that below his feet? That's the secondary. That's the tugging of the BMAs. I would assume that's the tugging of the BMAs taking place.
I had to run out, and I told my mom, my sister, everyone start running.
By the time he called 911 at 1.
So he tells everybody to start running. The mom tells the story. She said you have to grab the road girl, right? And he was Betty Crocker. So why doesn't he mention his Betty Crocker story? Go ahead.
19, he had less than 3 minutes to escape. Listen closely to this 911 call, and you hear the exact moment units began tumbling onto the Neer's unit and garage below. That was 1:22 and 9.
Okay, so we got 1:18. We got 4 minutes. We got 4 minutes between when he observed the deal. Above, though, that lady took about. She had to get dressed and everything else on 611, and she went out. So the building shook. Okay, so yeah, when that collapse happened, the building did shake. All right, remember we got it going rattling up there and it wakes people up. But I thought he was already out by then because he's supposed to be giving the security guard an address. The mom comes back to get them to leave. But now he's put himself right there on the deck while it's shaking below, while the ground is shaking. The ground is shaking below him. Yeah, that's that one's an odd duck for me on that one because then you said run out, but then you stopped to give the security guard the address. I'm kind of confused on that one. And you didn't tell the security guard to leave and just give me the address outside. So I got a conflict in that one. Just straight up gangster conflict. I don't like. I do like the timing of this. This gives us that. I don't like him putting himself at the rescue point where he's saying, come on, let's run, let's get out. Because the mom already claimed that night. She came back and they were at the door. Had to get him from the door, right? With the robe, with the daughter with the robe. And his story lacks those extra details. The mom has the details of the robe. And the daughter was next to her and she didn't bark at that. Yeah, so we're going to set the timeline of 122 and 118 timestamp off the camera. So that's a 4-minute change of time of the video of the when that fell. There was 4 minutes left. We got the 1:30 phone call. Of course, that didn't take place at 1:30. He just said thereabouts. He's a lawyer's attorney. Can't recall his phone. Which says 1:30. Why wasn't he more specific? He had a cell phone, right? You can clearly look at the time. Call me whatever, but that seems pretty insensitive not to do an interview and not know exactly the time based off the phone when your wife just died. To say, yeah, it was about 1:30 is the way it's reported. Instead of going, it was exactly this time that she called me. The building, yes. And so it seemed like he was in lawyer mode already. Can't take a lawyer out of lawyer mode, I guess. I mean, most of them. Some of them you can, of course. I got a couple of good lawyers here following me here. 122:19 is the collapse time. 122:19. That's 4 minutes. 4 minutes. 04 minutes on the clock from when she filmed at 118. He doesn't his details. He does not. It's definitely different than his story is definitely different. He's got himself as a hero, but leaving out that he had to at least get the security guard to leave. When we heard the security guard, it appears the security guard's story doesn't cross with reference with his story, and the security guard's story so far doesn't cross reference with the mama story about give them the address. Sorry, I put down my computer. So I've got some weird little thing going here. So let's just keep working from the pool deck. We know the pool collapsed for the other witnesses, but these witnesses are starting to lose some not credibility. Their story is just so unclean from one to the next. It's not getting cleaner and sharper. It's getting more diluted. Let me put it this way: I haven't heard them tell the same friggin' story the same time one time. Seems like every time I find a new one, this was from Tom, I get a jiving version. Yes, they lived there. Yes, they both claimed they saw the parking garage under. She claims from her side she ran to the end. I like her story how she ran to the end when she's talking to the security guard and saw it down. And then she goes back and gets him. I like her story. More so than I like his story. Yes, he says he went out to the deck. Yes, we have him on Twitter saying that he was there and it was the cars and deck. But this version here, this is the version that needs accounting for. It needs some cleaning up. On his part, it needs some cleaning up. One, when did you stop and give the guard about the address, the phone number? Two, did you do it rather, right? It that happened. We need the guard to come forward and tell us did they even cross paths like that. Three, he said it, let's run, let's get out of here. I thought it was the mom that said let's run. In fact, we could hear her in the background banging on doors saying, get out, it's an earthquake, it's an earthquake. So she was clear it was an earthquake, and he's really shopping himself pretty hard to get on the news here. I'm not liking that much. Okay.
19 seconds. Just under 6 minutes.
Let me do this.
That was was 1:22 and 19 seconds, just under 6 minutes from that first 911 call to the loss of nearly 100 lives in a crush of concrete and steel.
Right. So what do we have here? Let me just scrub a little bit. Right, that was his words. Let's hear what this says.
Teams at the bottom of the ramp leading into the garage. This is what it looked like 1 year ago. This week, just east of there.
Okay, a little dramatic. All right, let's see the timestamp on this one. Thanks, July 24th. Update on July 25th at 10. What's the update? Do they tell you the updates? Well, here's a recording pretty clear. 118 right here. By the time Near called 911 at 1:19, he had less than 3 minutes to escape. It sounds like he's still in the building. At that moment, I saw the ground shaking. I felt something was happening, he said. I saw the ground shaking. That's his quote. I told my mom and my sister, I told my mom, my sister, everyone starts running. Okay. That's a little different than what he stated on the quote. Okay. Back to here again. So we got 118 on the cell. People keep asking me that. There we go. There's your timestamp. 118. And we have now the video, the collapse video. Now you already know it. It is at 122. I just took a timestamp of that. 122. The screenshot. So now we have the timeline for you guys if you ever wanted to know. So we got 4 minutes between her photographing it and then she started to film again afterwards. So let's see. She filmed, stopped filming, building collapsed, she refilms. Had the conversation with the husband, buildings don't collapse. 122. So the building hadn't collapsed yet, but we have data here that says that somebody called about the parking garage, apparently.
But 911 calls and witness interviews reveal a longer process, lasting more than 6 minutes after a loud bang announced something was wrong. The first call to 911 came at 1:16 that morning.
A big explosion.
Big explosion, 1:16 a.m. So that would be 4 minutes later. It'll be finished.
At 8:07.
So much for 7 minutes. Well, no, he called. It took a minute to evaluate the call. So we got 1:16. Maybe we can push that. Maybe we can. Well, her video is not 7 minutes. We know that now. Hers is 1:18 to 1:22. It's 4 minutes. So now we can push it from this guy's call. This is when we need to know when this the first phone call. How long before he decided to make that phone call? Was it a minute? It's an explosion. You think that would be kind of immediate, that type of phone call. Oh, and all you trolls out there that want to say it's a bomb and all that. All right, that's what this guy hears in his mind. I'm not going down that line with you. I will delete you comments. If you don't have something, if I see that you have nothing else besides your little grenades and everything you keep putting down there, things like that, I just delete, blocking you. Go put that shit on another channel. All right, guys, giving you the new data, updating you. Thanks, Tom, for finding the link.